All right, YouTube. South Korea's president, Park, has been ousted. That is, she was already impeached there. But then it went through the court system and they upheld it unanimously, so she's out. She's been totally disgraced. Not a big surprise. It's sort of like Dilma in Brazil. It's sort of a tale of two politicians. Dilma, female politician in Brazil, her approval tanks. She's far left. She's an actual like socialist. She gets thrown out due to corruption. Then you have President Park. She's actually a fairly far right figure, also corrupt. Happens to be major female politician there. She gets ousted as well. So the number of female political leaders in the world has dropped dramatically over the last couple of years, it seems. All prefaced on corruption. In Park's case, it wasn't an oil scandal like with Dilma. With Park, it was apparently being part of a cult, sort of paying some cult leader to do witchy stuff for her, number one. And number two, also the misappropriation of money. So it's a good thing she's out. I mean, the big thing, looking back through sort of her life and times over the last few years, I think perhaps the worst thing was in the wake of problems there, attempting to apply significant levels of censorship on the population, which apparently rubbed some people the wrong way, let's face it. She had around, I believe, 11% approval at the time she was impeached. So it was a no-brainer that she was going to be removed from power. Of course, she sat there and said, oh, well, you can't remove me from power. Ho, ho, ho. And, I'm the leader of South Korea. And this comes at a particularly bad time, though. This is the one thing, perhaps, that her political allies get right. It is, there are difficulties in that realm of the world at the moment, and all of a sudden you then have one of the major players involved, their leader gets impeached. Of course, North Korea has been firing off missiles saying, oh, this time it's real war. Now, that's just dick-wagging. They're not actually going to attack anybody. But at the same time, it is true that they're getting frenetic in North Korea to the point. The Japanese, Malaysian, and South Korean leadership have all met with China. Apparently, everyone's roughly in agreement on the North Korean issue and what needs to be done as far as preventing them from getting a multi-stage nuclear weapon, probably attacking them if they try to get one, if they make a serious attempt. And other problems there, of course, Kim Jong-un's regime has been straggling along now for half a decade due to various famine and other economic problems alone, not even let alone the social problems that result from having a largely isolated regime that doesn't have access to outside full-on technology. You've also got problems in the Philippines, of course. There is social unrest there. Duterte has purged a lot of people, thrown a lot of people in prison. Now, I don't blame him, and I don't blame his followers for responding kindly to that, but it does cause stress on the population when that sort of thing happens. Even if long-term it's going to heal more stress than it's causing short-term, in that short term, things are a little bit more dicey. You've got increasingly Vietnam moving towards the Western sphere. Now, they've now got a military deal with Australia. They've got open trade now with the United States. And they're sort of migrating away from Chinese hegemony because the Chinese keep abusing them. You've still got movements like, Free Tibet and liberals in China. You've got similar movements in other parts of Southeast Asia as well. And then, of course, you've got Russia, which is right up there, and they've got their own difficulties. So that's really, it's this gigantic flashpoint within the world. And then the politicians and legal experts and fans of President Park, which are fewer and fewer in number towards the end there, they are correct when they identify, oh, shit, this is going to cause more stress in a part of the world that right now is under stress anyway. Yeah, you're correct. Like with Duterte, though, if you fail to address those problems, long-term the unrest grows more and more. Short-term, you take a hit. Short-term, there can be problems. I don't think South Korea has to worry that because of the absence of Park, suddenly they're going to devolve into third world status and get attacked by the North Koreans or something like that. It's just not going to happen. The stress, though, is there. It was interesting watching the stream, of course, because 99% of the people that were actually talking there were Korean. I couldn't understand a word that was being said, so I can't vouch for the prevailing opinions of South Koreans on social media towards their president. Because I don't understand. I mean, they could have been talking about, like, chickpea recipes. For all I know, I wouldn't have any clue. But she's gone. I don't know if this means she goes on trial, although she probably should. And keep in mind, again, this is a conservative political figure. She's not. I think some people have cast it off as, oh, well, far left, strong, empowered woman is getting ousted. She's actually a conservative. By South Korean standards, very conservative, very, very pro sort of moderate laissez-faire policy, which means she's still a corporatist, but she leans more towards that side, has a little more common sense, I guess, on fiscal issues. But anytime a politician is getting criticized on the internet and decides that the correct response is, oh, I'll just censor the internet and I'll start throwing these people in a cell for criticizing me, and that's bad news. It doesn't matter what other policies they happen to express. So Park has been removed. Thank goodness. Now we see what happens, I guess, in the turmoil thereafter. But people, I guess, they'll be looking at the Korean Peninsula for a while saying, oh, haha, because of instability there, the North Koreans will launch a sneak attack. I don't think so, but I guess the role-playing is pretty fun. I still remember the last time North Korea went totally ballistic there and said, oh, an active state of war exists. We will not tolerate this any longer, and we're shutting down this joint complex with the South Koreans, by the way, you fuck nuts. And everyone was listening to shortwave for about a week there. Every single night it was comfy threads everywhere. It wasn't just on image boards, it was everywhere else. Oh, North Korea did this, North Korea said that. Oh, this Armageddon is coming. It's going to be an atomic war. And it was all very funny, and it was obvious that it wasn't going to happen, but it was fun to pretend for a while and sit there, hunker in the bunker with the shortwave radio broadcast. That was pretty fun. Hopefully it happens again soon. Keep doing crazy things, Kim Jong-un. We need the entertainment. That's about all.